Welcome everyone, this is Zs.SuperCumulo and today I'm going to shoutcast match 1. This is from the FML season 27. We're going to start off at the 11 o'clock position with Sexy Returns. He is one of the most prominent players from the United States of America. He plays random, although I would say his best race is probably Undead followed by Night Elf. He has been an active member for quite some time, although in the past 2 years he's been on and off, and he came back last season for season 26 where he played I believe 3 or 4 games um, and then he went away for some time, but now he's back and apparently he is trying to get back in shape with this season. So he chose Undead for this round, and it seems that he's going to open up with Film build, which is not bad really. Follow at the 1 o'clock we have Reinforcement, who is from Russia. He is also another player who has been active for some time. I believe the first time I saw him was in season 23. His main race I believe is Undead, but he also plays Orc, especially in 2v2 or maybe even solo. He is an FFA player, but I think that he also plays ladder in Warcraft 3 Arena. Other than that, I don't know much about him. Next we have at the 5 o'clock Mog Skynet. He is one of my favorite players. He goes back to I believe 2005, 2004, when Battle.net was the main platform for Warcraft 3. Now we all play in Warcraft 3 Arena, but back then I believe Skynet was one of the strongest clans, along with Micro Society, Clan Lone, Clan Xlow, Clan AP, Almost Perfection. There were a lot of good clans back then when actually icons and stats mattered, because there were very few hackers, if any. In any case, enough nostalgia with Warcraft. Let's go back to the player. Mog Skynet is well known for playing tavern heroes such as Tinker. Let's see if he goes Tinker. Yep, he does go Tinker, so there it is. He goes Tinker with Pocket Factory. I don't think he goes Rocket Clusters that often. Probably is one of those skills that he uses later on when he's level 7, 8, 9. But we see him here creeping the mercenary camp, which is a very, I guess, natural pattern to go first. He does have 2 Moonwells, so yeah, he's gonna creep here. Then at the 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sorry, we have Ina. Ina, he's from Germany. He is mostly a troll, really. He kind of harasses people online, insults them, says silly things, but he's a good player nonetheless. He's also very active in the what is it called, in the Asian server, East Warcraft 3 something, I don't know, it's a server from Asia where people play solo most of the time. He also streams his games, and overall I think he has good micro and everything. But let's see how he adapts here to FFA. His main race is Orc, yes, and he did go Dark Ranger, which is strange. Usually I believe he's a better player with Blade Master. So he's gonna try to get level 2 and then continue creeping, maybe even expand at the 10 o'clock. I don't know if players did agree on clockwise or counterclockwise regarding the first expansions. Here, for example, sorry, we see that the Undead Reinforcement is expanding clockwise, so they must have said something about it. Nevertheless, we see here that Ina did go counterclockwise, so I don't know if this is gonna force some early engagement between these two, or if they're gonna piece. Apparently Ina might go for some early aggression, since he is a better solo player than Mog Skynet. Mog Skynet used to be a solo player, but that was more than a decade ago. So I don't know how Mog will react to this. I mean, Headhunters versus Archers, Tinker versus Dark Ranger, both heroes are about the same level experience. This Shadow Priest might fall actually due to the Black Arrow, but we see that both players are trying to micro the best they can. In my opinion, this should go in favor. I mean, Ina has more units, but his hero health points is very low, while Mog actually does have few units, but his Tinker is has more HP. So we'll see what happens here. Ina is trying to micro here. Ina does play from Battle.net, so I don't know if that's an advantage or disadvantage. Ina actually denying the headhunters just so that the team doesn't get experience. And Ina manages to get level 3. I wonder if he will TP or if he will just run away. Most likely run away since there is no reason to burn ATP. He's trying to get another kill, and he does get another kill. So this is going to make Mog Skynet a little bit angry, because this is the second game that Mog is being, I guess, soloed by an FFA player. In the last game, I believe it was Twilight Ruins, I did rush him, but it was much later. It was in the minute 15 or 20. Here, however, we see that Ina is engaging very early on, maybe even at the... Okay, here we have a... sorry, I didn't notice about this. This is a nice feature that the admins added to the map configuration. So here we have, this is a 5-minute mark, and they were fighting since minute 5. And here we even see that... Okay, so here, if you can read, it says micro noob. Basically, Ina is, how is that saying in English? Shove it in your face, something like that. Where, you know, the guy says, ha ha ha, I beat you. And Ina, Ina is just being a complete jerk right now. I love this guy. This guy's like a complete jackass, but okay, every village needs one. In any case, Mog is really furious right now. He's really gonna try to get level 3 with his Tinker and then rush Ina out. We see that Mog Skynet went Panda second. Maybe a wiser choice could have been Beastmaster. But nevertheless, I mean, Panda does work as well. Even provides some strength much later in the game where you face possibly FFA army combinations such as mass gargoyles, tanks. So yeah, Panda works. But if you want to rush, maybe Beastmaster. So we see here that Ina throws another Packet Factory, and he's gonna deny or cancel the Bestiaries. Ina doesn't have a Voodoo Launch, and his Dark Ranger has only almost 200 HP, so that's not really good. He's gonna try to tank with his TC, but without a Voodoo Launch to heal, this is quite dangerous for Ina. Ina could be easily eliminated here. The Tinker is still level 2, and Mog actually is expanding here. Ina does have, I cannot ping, but he has one peasant here, or one peon here. Mog Skynet going for the altar, and Ina is actually foot blocked, I believe. Yes, he is, so that's very, very bad. Very poor macro by Ina. Ina thought that maybe micro was everything he needed, but in FFA, not so much. Mog Skynet is going 3 Ancient of Wind, so maybe he will bring Tourist of the Talon just to add the minus 5 armor. Okay, it's just, I mean, you know, just to provide more damage. Nice use of the silence there. It's just gonna delay the inevitable. The Breath of Fire will come eventually, and when that happens, it's going to be very rough for these headhunters, which are not level 3 yet. Although he's upgrading here, so maybe once this upgrade is finished, Ina will bring all of his units here to attack. But Mog Skynet is actually doing a lot of progress here, bringing down the fortress, so he has to repair very, very quickly, and he does so. However, we see that Tinker is still level 2, and once he gets level 3, maybe that will be game changer. Mog has to be careful not to lose his Panda here. It's actually falling very, very quickly. With this many archers and focusing on the fortress, it might go down very soon. Actually, Nina ran out of lumber, so that's not such a good thing to happen. We see here that the headhunters are ready, but that's not gonna be enough really. I mean, Ina needs very positioning with full health heroes, and that's not gonna happen anytime soon. We see here that Ina is trying to right click the Panda, and he might actually be able to kill it. Never mind, he does use a potion of health, and now he's gonna pick up maybe 1 or 2 headhunters along with the TC. So TC will go down most likely. Nope, he's gonna stay alive just for now. But without a Voodoo Launch, he will not be able to heal himself. So now we see a funny scenario where Ina made fun of Mog Skynet for not microing very well, or maybe losing some units. But now Ina is going to lose the game because he has no lumber and he's mining very poorly. He cannot even produce because he's not foot blocked, but he's gonna lose his hero here, and then he's gonna maybe lose a couple more units or even his main base. And after this happens, Mog is gonna just secure himself at least a 3rd place. So not bad for him. Ina is trying the best he can to defend, but that's not gonna really matter. He needs a lumber. He needs to he needs to produce more units, otherwise Mog will inevitably win in the long run. We see that Mog actually does have an expansion here, and he even has 2 units here, so not bad for him. Ina is actually losing headhunters now one by one, and he will inevitably lose his hero along with these other units. He's even using the peons to attack, but that's not going to make any difference. It's just going to provide more experience, really. Mog might lose the Tinker, who knows, could happen, but I think you can let the hero die unless you want to heal it, but never mind. He's gonna TP out. Ina in the meantime, he lost everything, and now he is, I don't know what he's going to try to do. Does he really think he can rebuild? This is so sad that Germany will be out first, and it is actually quite hilarious. Sad and hilarious at the same time. Okay, so we see here that if we focus enough with these 2 guys, let's go at the top part of the map with Reinforcement and Sexy. Both of them are playing an Undead Mirror match, and we see that Reinforcement does have a Rock Golem, which is a nice item. I suppose they did creep the corner expansions. So we see here Fiends versus Gargoyles, and the Fiends should win this fight, but then again, anything can happen. It will depend on who disables better the other heroes. Sexy is actually going for the Lich, and he managed to kill the Lich. In the meantime, we see that Sexy is trying to micro the Fiends, and he might be able to save this one. Yep, he does save it. So overall, in general, Sexy is doing an okay job trying to micro the best he can. He's losing 1, maybe 2 units, but at the same time he's killing a couple of gargoyles so in a hero. So in all, I think in all things considered, he's doing okay. Sexy might try to back where his towers are, because now there is 1 destroyer, more gargoyles coming, so he has to be careful not to get too cocky. So maybe, okay, going back to Mog and Ina. Ina is actually losing the few last builders, and he left the game. So Ina got anal, and back to the 12 o'clock. Sexy is producing more Fiends. Maybe he will add a Frostworm and Destroyers. But for now, this is all he's got. And in the meantime, Reinforcement does have 3 expansions, so that's no 2 expansions. So that's not bad, really. Reinforcement should be in the lead, while Sexy only has 1 expansion, and he hasn't even crept the corner. So yeah, not so good for him. But who knows? Maybe he has better micro and better hero levels that he can compensate for not having an extra expansion. So Sexy's gonna go and get this expansion at the 11 o'clock at the corner, while Mog will continue to creep. He will most likely get level, okay, 4-3, that's not bad, that's actually pretty good. He does have an expansion here, and he has about 2000 gold, so that rush really paid off. We also see that Sexy is creeping here the corner. He will most likely get levels 2 and 3, maybe 3, who knows. Mog needs a 3rd hero, I suppose Keeper of the Grove, yep, that's gonna be Keeper. As for reinforcements, since he already crept everything and he is at 60 out of 60, he needs to go 80 and decide if he wants to attack, but maybe he's waiting for Sexy to show what his whole army is going to be. Sexy might lose this Fiend, he does lose it, and he might actually lose this other Fiend if he's not careful. Never mind, he was able to kill it just on time. So levels 2, 3, and 4, and now he's gonna expand here. As for Mog Skynet, Mog is still at 4 and 3. He's gonna kill this Shadow Priest, and he's gonna stay at 50 for some time. Now he's gonna get rid of the Archer, so I don't know if he's gonna continue creeping or if he will switch to Chimeras. Okay, so 1 Chimera roost here, but no more than that. Reinforcement is creeping, actually already crept this corner expansion at the 5 o'clock, so Mog Skynet just has to resign. I mean, he has to forget about his natural corner expansion and go for this one. And I mean, once he creeps this, yes, then he can expo here maybe at the 7 o'clock. This one he could also use later on. Sexy, let's see, he's gonna have 3 expansions and he's gonna probably stay there at 50 for some time. Right now it's only 14 minutes into the game, and we see that Sexy going at the what is it? 7 o'clock, and now Mog actually kind of wants to fight, but he has to be careful not to get his heroes right click. He's gonna probably lose his hero. Never mind, he ends up TPing, and nice engagement there for Sexy. He actually managed to force Mog to TP out, and now he can creep this corner without any problems. So Mog Skynet is the only one who couldn't creep a corner expansion, but he does have decent hero levels, and he's still below 50. No, he just broke, and he has enough bank really to go above 50. So let's see if Mog is actually hides or if he stays in his base. Maybe now he's gonna creep this, and then he's gonna try to get this expansion at the 5 o'clock, but he needs to remember that it's been a long time and the other players might have already crept that. And actually the funny thing is that Reinforcement is putting up an expansion here, so that's gonna be that's gonna be a surprise for Mog, to say the least. Okay, so Reinforcement at 62, while Sexy at 49. Sexy is still with enough resources really, with 13 something, so that should be good for him really to break already. Mog Skynet actually at 3k, not bad, not bad. If anything, I think Mog is in the lead right now, even though he got harassed by Ina and was forced into an early 1v1. So now Mog is actually gonna destroy this expansion, but that's not gonna be any problems for Reinforcement. After all, this was only 300 gold. In the meantime, we see that Sexy is moving around, still at 50. Maybe he's deciding on what units to get. He does have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. 4 crypts and 2 boneyards, a couple of necropolis, and yeah, he's gonna go 80. Actually, 5 crypts, so not bad for Sexy. Now got rid of his fiends, so that means he's gonna go straight into gargoyles, pure air. And Reinforcement will probably do the same. He does have about 80 population, 78 to be exact, but maybe Sexy can perform better once he gets scrolls. He does have decent amount of scrolls. I mean, 1 scroll of restoration, which is almost the equivalent. Actually, it should be 2 scrolls of healings, right? Yeah, even restores mana. Nice. So Reinforcement might look for a fight here with Sexy. Mog Skynet is given free reign basically, but he is at least at 65 now. He doesn't want to get too comfortable staying at 50 for so long. Maybe the others could see that with a shade and decide to deny his expansions or attack his main base, putting him in a vulnerable position. Okay, so Reinforcement here, going for the acolytes with mass gargoyles. This is going to be annoying. Sexy needs to deal with this somehow. He's upgrading to spirit towers, and we see here that Sexy brings the few units he's got, but that's not gonna be enough unless he's able to only nuke the units with with Nova and Heron Swarm, which are viable options. Okay, so Sexy with a destroyer and a couple of actually very few gargoyles, while Reinforcement is just walking around really, mining from 3 expansions and his main base, of course. And this should be an even fight between Sexy and Reinforcement. Both of them would benefit greatly from this. In the meantime, we see that Mog Skynet is actually getting a little bit greedy. Let's see, he has 3 expansions, maybe going for a 4th expansion. So definitely looking better for Mog in my opinion. Reinforcement is asking for help, but he hasn't even fucked once. So it's actually funny how people just expect others to do their dirty work. But Sexy is now trying to counter Manip, and it's actually funny because they think they can win versus Mog in a 1v1 because Mog has Tinker, but they shouldn't get too cocky against Mog. So we see here that Reinforcement is going for the corner expansion, just preventing the acolytes from mining. Sexy should react in some way. I don't know if Sexy will TP or if he's gonna walk there with his army. He decides to, maybe he will defend, who knows. Never mind, it looks like this necropolis is gonna fall, so Sexy, let's see what Sexy decides to do here. He's at, right now he's at 73, and reinforcement at 77, Mog also 73, so everyone has about the same amount of population, so this should really could go either way. Sexy possibly going above 80 now, no, 75, but it looks like he's got plenty of units, even more than reinforcement. Okay, so okay, so now Mog is actually killing the few archers that he's got left. He's even killing the troll berserker. Maybe he wants more firepower, more chimeras, and more anti-air. Okay, so far reinforcement is just still walking around. He's got only 1500 gold. Everyone is broke somehow. They have below, all of them have below 2000k, which is a surprise. Here we see the Mog actually wants to have an early engagement versus reinforcement, and it looks like they're gonna go at it. So far it seems that Mog might be able to kill the Lich, but reinforcements apparently won the air battle, or at least that's what it looks like. Panda is actually forced to TP out, so maybe it went in favor of reinforcement. Now, I don't know if there is a shade here. No, well, no, the only shade belongs to reinforcement. So, Mog is trying to somehow manip against reinforcement. It seems like it might work out. And now we see that that Sexy brings 80 army composition to fight here. He's gonna finish off this expansion because there is no necropolis to TP and defend. He's keeping right here in the back. He's 12, or yeah, should be 12 gargoyles. Yep, 12 gargoyles just to make sure that when he fights he doesn't lose all of his gargoyles to one single Nova and Charon Swarm. So Mog Skynet lost the 5 o'clock expansion, and he's gonna try to chat now with Sexy and coordinate some kind of attack against reinforcement, since reinforcement might be in the lead now in terms of hero levels. Let's see, level 4, levels 3 and 5. So yeah, those are very strong hero levels. The reinforcement did lose one expansion, and he could also lose this other expansion if he's not careful. But it was just Sexy returning the favor really for killing this expansion right here. Okay, so Sexy now bringing the rest of his gargoyles. I don't know if he will show them, maybe he will. So Sexy now at 80, but this army looks more scary. It looks as if it were almost 100. Reinforcement now possibly a little bit worried that he needs to pump more units or he's gonna get tomed hardcore. Right here in this fight, it looks like it could go either way. No, I mean, if reinforcement lands a couple of good Novas, then he might be okay, but it looks like it could strongly go in favor of Sexy. Sexy now managed to kill a couple of acolytes. He might go for the destroyer or the gargoyles, but it looks like it will go very well in favor of Sexy. Reinforcement is just dying now, and he's calling for help, possibly because he has no way to answer this many gargoyles. He will try to use Nova and Charon Swarm. Mog does see this with a hippogriff. Nice scout there, but I wonder if he's gonna come and help him. Nice use of the scroll of restoration there by Sexy, saving basically all of his units. Now in the meantime, Mog probably knows that he cannot fight this alone, or at least just now. So he's gonna go for the expansions. We see that Mog is going for the 11 o'clock, no, for the 1 o'clock expansion or 12 o'clock expansion. Sexy did manage to kill the hero, and Sexy at 800. No, I'm sorry, what 800? 4,000, 4 points. Actually, everyone. Oh, I was getting things mixed up. I thought that the gold was here, but it was actually lumber. So the gold is here. Reinforcement at 5k. Mog Skynet at 2.7k, and Sexy returns at almost 5k. So everyone is really strong in terms of resources. So reinforcement basically losing most of his units and his heroes, but now Sexy is gonna come here and try to defend this. He should be able to fight this with no problems, even though Panda is at level 4 and is still full mana. Sexy is trying to kite the best he can, and he's doing enough damage just to weaken the units, but if that panda gets one good breath of fire, which he did just now, it could change things around. Nevertheless, Mox kinda is forced to TP out because he doesn't have enough power to fight these many Gargs. Sexy is still at 65. He hasn't broken 80. Sexy still has this expansion also, which is not bad, and this other expansion. So in my opinion, Sexy could theoretically end this, especially if he goes for the undead. But he needs to go 100 and go all the way in. Otherwise, it may change. It may change momentum, and then reinforcement and Mog could lead. So let's see what happens here. Sexy at still 68. Reinforcement probably trying to hoard at 50 with these two expansions, which is not a bad call, but when you have 6000k and you were just about to be eliminated, maybe it's wiser to break, unless you have a shade here that sees everything, and you know when he's coming. And if you know he's not coming, then yes, you can do it. Otherwise, if you are not sure, then you should probably break 50 and go 100. Reinforcement here, putting up a couple of Nerubian towers and Spirit towers maybe. He should definitely break 50 soon, otherwise he's gonna get eliminated. Maybe his reasoning is that even if he breaks 50, it's not gonna be fast enough, so he's gonna basically feed the other undead, so might as well just rely on crying for help, which is also a good reasoning, but at least you, I don't know, like, it depends how well you execute your defense also, but it's definitely tough. It's a tough decision to make. I think he's gonna rely on manipulation more than anything, and Sexy is going all the way in against the air units, but the towers are doing enough damage, especially delaying the speed movement from the heroes. Sexy actually is gonna be able to kill these two heroes, but killing the main base is going to be quite tough now. Sexy leading with his gargoyles, picking units one by one. Dreadlord actually was saved, but eventually will die. He is forced to use a scroll of restoration, or maybe a potion of restoration, I don't know, but at this point basically reinforcement is just walking around his base and trying to delay as much as he can the inevitable. Reinforcement is trying to keep his units alive, but he's losing all of them one by one. Nevertheless, in the meantime, he's pumping, but now it's a little bit too late. At the same time, we see that Mog kinda is harassing with Tinker and a few units. Mog at 80 and Sexy at 69. So Sexy is doing an okay job in terms of keeping up with the keeping up below 80. So that's gonna give him enough resources to fight possibly both players. But if he doesn't go 100 and finish this guy quickly, then it's gonna be a difficult scenario for him. It's actually not that easy to decide what to do here, whether to go 100 and risk everything, because you're gonna risk resources, you're gonna risk possibly I mean, more than anything resources, but also going 100 to finish someone off. It's a commitment that you cannot, I mean, you do it just to commit yourself to that direction, and if it doesn't work out because the others defend well, or you find that you are being hit from multiple sides, then it's I mean, you will have enough to defend, but eventually you will run out of fuel, and I guess on this particular case, staying at 80 for Sexy might be the wisest thing he can do. It also depends on the race you're playing, because for Undead maybe adding 10 more gargoyles or maybe one more frost worm, 2 more frost worms is not enough. It's not really that big of a difference. For other races, adding 4 chimeras or adding something else can be game changer in terms of destroying buildings. So it depends on the race and the player and the amount of resources that you have. Okay, so here we see that the reinforcement is actually going to lose his heroes for sure. He loses the Lich, and then he might lose the the Dreadlord, but So far his base has remained intact, and I wonder if Sexy will be able to finish off this base, because it's gonna take him a long time for him to just continue chasing these heroes. I mean, the heroes have potion of invulnerabilities, TP, so at this point, reinforcement, I mean, Sexy should just focus on the buildings rather than the heroes, and reinforcement will lose. I'm gonna remove this. I don't know, should I remove this? I'm gonna keep it here, whatever. Um, okay. Okay, so, no, never mind. Okay, the Undead is gonna finish off the reinforcement base by killing the most important buildings, probably the graveyard, Sigurats, and even main base. In the meantime, we see that Mog Skynet is at how much? 7,000 gold with 100 population, while Sexy is at 5,000 gold with 80 population. So it looks like Mog is slightly better. Well, yeah, 20 more population and 2k more gold. So yeah, he's doing better. But in terms of hero levels and possibly skill-wise, maybe it goes in favor of Sexy. Here Mog is gonna go all the way in with his Tinker and few Chimeras. The amount of Hippogriffs might be enough to stand the fight for quite some time, maybe a couple of like 10 seconds or so. But the number of Chimeras is not enough really to kill the heroes. Sexy needs to rely mostly on kiting. Let's see if he can do this. He's gonna lose a couple of Griffins, Hippogriffs here. Nice use of Clarion Swarm and Nova, and Mog uses this scroll of healing just on time, but he has to be careful not to lose his hero. He's gonna TP immediately, which I believe was an okay decision, not so bad after all, because he did use both of his scrolls of healings, and if he had stayed there any longer, he would have lost probably all of his his Hippogriffs. In the meantime, we see that Reinforcement is harassing the expansion. So basically, Reinforcement is gonna play the annoying game where he tries to stay alive and harass in the meantime. So this is not an easy thing to do. I mean, for Sexy it's not going to be easy to defend, and to defend his expansions, try to get other expansions and fight maybe the 100 army from Mog Skynet. So it's this is going to be a difficult position for Sexy to defend, because the other guy still has some units just to be annoying against expansions, and Sexy needs to find a way to continue these resources above 3,000, and for that he needs this expansion and this other, and there are no more expansions, so Sexy is in a little bit of trouble. Maybe it will be best for him to ask for peace. Sexy does use a teleport here, and he might be able to kill the Dreadlord or something, but that's okay. So Reinforcement did lose his hero and was forced to TP out, but he can just produce a couple of units and continue be annoying. Since there is no other expansion, maybe this one at the 1 o'clock, but other than that, Sexy is gonna run out of resources very soon. Oh, never mind, he does have one here for 5,000. So he needs to put some towers or something to prevent this harassment from Reinforcement. Reinforcement is just going to, he's gonna try to buy time, be annoying, and that's going to be enough really. And we see here that Mog Skynet is gonna fight again. He's gonna even try to get this other expansion. He brought here a Tree of Life. The Lich is almost out, so has to be careful here. Actually, the amount of Hippogriffs is gigantic, and he's gonna lose his hero if he's not careful. He doesn't have a Destroyer to devour. Oh no, he does have one. So it looks like this army composition is actually very scary. A lot of Hippogriffs, Panda level 4, and couple of Chimeras, which are he has an enough number of Chimeras to kill the heroes with a good entangle. So all things considered, Mog Skynet has a real chance here. He does have enough units. Sexy might actually lose this destroyer. What's he doing? Okay, no, I'm sorry, this is Reinforcement. Okay, we see here that Sexy might try to kite. It could be done, but yeah, it could be done. He's actually focusing the Tinker. Nice decision there by him, and he might actually get it. Tinker ends up tipping out of there, which in my opinion is an okay choice. But in order to avoid that, he should have a potion of invulnerability, and also he should keep his Tinker in the back. You really cannot go ahead with the Tinker like that, in front with the Tinker like that. You need maybe, well, Orb of Venom, I guess you can have it. I mean, it just has 850 HP, so 2 coils and then a couple of attacks and you're dead. Sexy does come here to harass, and Smog has to be careful not to lose these hippogriffs. These are a lot of hippogriffs in the red, so he could lose all of them. And now he does use the Stone Form to deny the Drunken Haste, but he might find himself fighting against a lot of hippogriffs. Actually, this fight could very well go in favor of Mog, because Sexy is actually just staying there instead of kiting. Yeah, it looks like Mog ended up winning there barely, but he needs to recover. He's actually pumping more anti-air, which is not a bad decision. If I were him, now that I have won this battle, I might consider switching units, like maybe adding a couple of Dryads, maybe even one Mountain Giant. I don't know, I don't play Elf, but I would try to switch my army. I know that Cheapo is very solid against almost everything, but well, does he have an Ancient of Lore? I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. Okay, never mind then. So Mog Skynet is gonna base his whole strategy on Cheapo, nothing more. Which is fine really, but it is nice to see a night of players who bring some bears, dryads, other units just to add some diversity and possibly provide better entertainment. Because I mean, you get tired of seeing cheapos every game. Okay, so Sexy does have 700 gold, not much left really. I mean, okay, he has some units here, he's still at 72, but what I meant by not much is that he cannot produce back to 80 or 100 in a heartbeat. It's gonna take him a long time. He might even cancel this expansion, but it only has what, 1700 gold, and mining that at 80, you know, that's a with a 0.7. That's a 0.7 of the whole thing, so it would be around 1000 or maybe 100, 1.1k that he's gonna get out of it. So not that much really. Mog Skynet in the meantime with his panda almost level 5. Tinker needs a Scroll of Healing, okay, but I think I would prefer Potion of Invulnerability just to be safe. No, I think a Scroll of Healing is fine. Maybe I would sell. What would I sell? I don't know. Like, I mean, his Tinker is fine really. Just if he could have one more item, Potion of Invulnerability would be great. Panda with what? I would probably sell the the aura is fine also because it adds 1 armor to all of your units and that's what you want. All things considered, Mog does have in good army composition, and I believe he's at 100. Yeah, he's at 100, and he still has 3000k, so he could very well finish this. He does have a scary army. I wouldn't fight this. Just I mean, I would rely on kiting if I were Sexy. I wouldn't fight him straight on. Okay, I need some water. Okay, so Reinforcement is still in the game. He does have only 400 gold. I wonder if he has an army. He does have an army here. He's hiding in the corner, and Sexy really cannot afford to go hunting anymore. This expansion, I mean, Reinforcement is mining at what, 69. Okay, he can do that, I guess. In the meantime, we see that Mog Skynet is just walking around, not doing much really. He might actually, he's gonna force Reinforcement to give up this expansion. Okay, now let's see. Sexy returns how much gold? Mog Skynet is the only one who has the most gold, 3.4 thousand. Now he doesn't know how much gold the others have, but if he knew, he would probably go on. I mean, no, even if he knew, I don't know. I don't think he would. I don't think it's wise to go against one of the undeads because that undead starts crying and then it just becomes a nightmare to face 6 undead heroes who can just coil Nova your army, and then you end up losing everything. So it's a very difficult spot for Mog, in my opinion. Nevertheless, Mog has to act. He has to do something because these undeads are just gonna sit there and probably not move, or maybe they will bring the fight to the undead space to the Night space by kiting. Now, Sexy did add 2 frost worms, so it's gonna be interesting. That should make things very difficult for Mog. Mog now, with his hippos half HP, he better reconsider this. The undead actually acts level 6 now, and he could continue kiting. So I don't know. Sexy is doing a good job in terms of defending. Now he's probably gonna go and chase the Night Elf. He can probably do some kiting here. He does use the Scaron Swarm, but I don't know if he hit anything. The hippos are coming here, and he might be able to kill some. The Scroll of Healing does help a lot there, but he used the only one he had. So now, once they fight here, head on straight. I mean, wow, he has to back now. He really cannot afford to lose this many hippogriffs. Yeah, this didn't go well for him. Now Mog needs to back before he loses all of his chimeras. I mean, these hippogriffs are gonna die instantly. The amount of damage that high level heroes from the undead, the amount of damage singular. Okay, it does a lot of damage. You need to execute it well, otherwise it's just, I mean, the amount of gargoyles are gonna destroy you later on. Reinforcement walking around, just probably scouting for any hidden expansions or hidden bases, but he's not gonna find anything really, at least not now. In the meantime, we see that Mog Skynet is trying to heal everything he can. He's usually, I mean, okay, so he has 3k gold and he's still at 100 or close to 100. So usually at this point, Mog would, I don't know if he's gonna sit in his base and try to chat, or if he's gonna continue being aggressive. If he continues being aggressive, he's gonna lose a couple of units along with scrolls of healing. So I don't know how he can do this without losing much. I don't know if the undead lost anything at all. Maybe a couple of buildings, but other than that, he's fine. He still has an army and a full base. He's even mining here, so Sexy is not completely out yet. Now there is an expansion here at the 10 o'clock, and I think that might go in. I mean, that might go for Noix. What am I saying? Mog, for Mog. 1700 gold. Yeah, in Mog, will he build a Tree of Life or bring one from somewhere? I think he might bring this one. So Mog might actually play defensive here. He could mine this at 100. He will get what, like 700 out of it, which is okay. I mean, that could be almost 3 scrolls of healings, and that amount of scrolls of healings could make a difference. I mean, you can just use them consecutively and then just force a fight immediately after. The problem here is fighting again. Yeah, Tinker goes down immediately. That's the only problem I have with heroes like that. It's just that they get focused immediately, and now he even lost the panda. That was a mistake by Mog, but at the same time it's a mistake very difficult to avoid. Once someone drops an infernal in your face, it's like you're just milliseconds away from getting shredded, and It's even if you even if you assign a macros to your keyboard, or if you use hotkeys, workkeys, whatever, it's very difficult to just have your reactions right on point and deny the coil nova or whatever. It's very difficult. So Mog loses both of his heroes there, and he still has enough gold to revive them, and he should be fine. But if Sexy capitalizes on this mistake, an avoidable mistake I should mention by Mog, he could definitely take the win here. But he has to consider also that the other player could have an army, which I don't know if Sexy did scout. And if this turns into a base race, it could really be anyone's game. Now Mog is talking about having 1k and 1 hero, which is partially true. But now Mog is actually going to lose this altar of elders, in my opinion. Fighting here against this many hippogriffs is still a little bit suicidal. I would rely a lot on hiding. However, fighting two armies from both flanks, it's not an easy task, and the DK actually very low on HP. Actually, not 500, but forcing your army to get a split is not an enjoy. It's not something that you want to see. So here the frost armor on the Dead Knight just on time, but he had to TP out because he was facing two armies right there. So Mog was able to survive there for some time. I thought that the Altar of Elders was going to be taken out, but the amount of hippogriffs, the moonwells, and the chimeras did help him a lot. Mog will, however, lose this expansion, so he's not gonna continue mining anytime soon. Alright, so Sexy at level 7, 6 and 6, but I don't... Does he have an army? He's a 74 somehow. He does have a couple of gargoyles, so I mean, he doesn't have enough to fight this, but maybe he doesn't need to, because all he needs to, all he has to do is focus the chimeras, really. If he can manage to kill the chimeras, then all of these hippogriffs are really useless. Or maybe just go for the heroes instead of the chimeras, and if you force the heroes to back or TP out, then you should be fine. Here we see that Mog is actually going again against Sexy, but I don't know if he has a panda. I didn't see a panda. Maybe they are coordinating to go 2 against 1, and if that's the case, then he doesn't need a panda for now. They could probably go for base race, and if that's the case, then Sexy is gonna be in a lot of trouble. Fighting two heroes from two different flanks is, two enemies from two flanks is not that easy. Sexy needs to be careful not to lose all of his gargoyles to one good Breath of Fire and Nova and Heron Swarm. At the same time, he has to defend from this base race, or he's just not gonna be able to survive here. The Nova and the Heron Swarm from these heroes are slowly tearing apart the gargoyles, not to mention that, okay, there is no panda here, that's why, but if they go to a straight fight, Mog should feel confident that he's gonna win this. Now he's actually trying to force the undead to fight by entangling the heroes, and he does use his Scroll of Healing just on time to save all of his hippogriffs. So very well executed there by Mog. He's able to get level 6 Tinker, which is a nightmare. It's a nightmare little devil right here. Mecha Goblin. I wonder if it's Mecha Goblin or if his name is Mecha Gob. Mecha Gob. Nice name. In any case, Sexy, with only 3 heroes left and a couple of gargoyles, he's gonna be able to kill one chimera, but he still needs to stay in the bag. He really cannot afford to continue losing units or provoking any of the other 2 players, because they still have plenty of buildings, and Sexy seemed to be the strongest, but now Mog Skynet actually is going to change targets, probably go for reinforcement instead, because he's the other strong undead who could give him a hard time. we see here that Sexy is going for this expansion. He's gonna bring it down, and after that, Mog is gonna be right about the same level as the other players in terms of gold. Everyone with less than 750. So this is a very even game so far, but I would say that it's still in favor of the Undead, mainly because of Sexy, of course, because of his hero levels, and also because he can kite well, he can do it better. If I were him, I would probably focus on killing the heroes rather than the chimeras. He's actually trying to do that by just using spells, and he managed to force an Mog to TP out of there, so good job for him. That's what he should be doing. But if the others, I mean, if he continues to do this, then the others will perceive him as the greater threat, so they will continue to go at the same time, and it will inevitably be his defeat. The fact that he can defend so well is gonna force the other two to continue attacking him. So yeah, it's inevitable that he will probably be erased from the map. But for now, he just has to defend. That's all he can do. So we see that Reinforcement is bringing a couple of guards, Frozen Warp and a Frost Worm. He still has here a lot of gargoyles that no one really has scouted, and I think that's gonna be dangerous later on when Mog and Sexy probably assume that the Brown and the Reinforcement has almost nothing, but the reality is that he does have a couple of units that can make a difference if this game turns into a base race. In the meantime, we see that Mog Skynet is still sitting in his base. We see a shade here from Reinforcement, which is basically like a mini map hack that you can see how much he's got, and based on what he's seeing, 6 chimeras, couple of hippogriffs, that's quite enough for Mog to defeat Sexy, but maybe not enough for Mog to deal against this many gargoyles from Reinforcement. Also, Reinforcement does have some decent hero levels, level 5, 5, and 4, which can be dangerous. And okay, so we see here that Reinforcement still does have some cigarettes here at the 5 o'clock. I don't know if he's gonna sell them or anything. Mog is bringing the Goblin Tinker here to do some harassment. He will probably end up killing this, and I wonder if Reinforcement will engage with Mog. Maybe just kill this and then back, because they both know that Sexy is still the greatest threat, and they want to combine their efforts, possibly to weaken him a little bit more, to bring him only to 2 heroes, or maybe to less buildings. In any case, Mog is still sitting in his base, I believe. No, he's just moving out, possibly gonna go to the Undead space for now. And we see here that the Undead Sexy is going to scout. I don't know if he's seeing anything in particular, if he's looking for something in particular, but so far it looks like as soon as Sexy goes in that direction, the Undead Reinforcement starts crying, which is something that we usually see from FML plays in general.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, so here we see that Reinforcement does have 900 gold, which is enough to revive 1 or 2 heroes at best. Maybe if he sells items, 3 heroes. Or he can use this gold to build a couple of necropolis if he turns into a base race. Mog Skynet is back at Sexy's base now that Sexy is far away, so Sexy has to come back from the 12 o'clock and try to defend this. Okay, so the Goblin Tinker along with the Chimeras are going to be enough just to do sufficient damage to the buildings, but he's probably gonna focus on the heroes, which I don't know if it's a good idea really. Panda gets stuffed out, and in my opinion he should focus on the buildings rather than the heroes. Now he's gonna lose most of the Chimeras because Brown is gonna interfere and try to help Sexy, because Brown knows that maybe Brown is afraid that he cannot fight Mog 1v1, and he should be, because hippogriffs are usually hard to counter with just gargoyles, but Sexy seems to be doing fine here. He's gonna lose maybe one gargoyle in a couple of buildings, but Mog did lose a lot more. He lost all of his chimeras, I believe. So Mog really has almost nothing here. And if I were Mog, I really wouldn't trust this reinforcement guy anymore, because he did. I mean, reinforcement kind backstabbed him, and now Sexy is in a stronger position than before. He can just sit in his base, and these guys, even if they try to team him out, that's not gonna be enough really to. I mean, well, maybe they could, but it's gonna be a long game if that's the case. Now reinforcement is bringing all he's got, and I don't know if he's gonna go for Sexy or if he's gonna go for Mog, but Sexy can just sit in his base and try to defend with his heroes alone, and he should be fine unless the other two coordinate a very good teaming effort. If they do a good teaming attempt, then yes, they can bring Sexy down, but otherwise Sexy is the one who needs to move out and make the mistake. Mog Skynet sends his Stinker here to do some harassment, maybe drop a Bucket Factory, do little damage just by oh my gosh, he's tipping out of there. Okay, so I guess the undead didn't have Infernal Stone, because Infernal Stone is right here trying to kill buildings. And this Infernal Stone might give Keeper level 5? No, probably not. It's gonna get away? No, it's not. Okay, so it's gonna get close to level 5, but it will not be level 5. Okay, so the Tinker will probably go back to the undead space, but it's not gonna do much. Oh, here we see that the undead is actually going for the panda, and this is quite a surprise for Sexy to leave his main like that. I don't know if reinforcement sees it. Actually, he sees it with the shade right here, so he knows that Sexy is fighting Mog, and this means that the few buildings that Sexy has are very vulnerable, and reinforcement will probably go in that direction. Or maybe he's gonna see a little bit longer and decide. The panda almost out, really. There is no more moon juice. He has to be careful not to. I mean, if he could only god damn it. Okay, actually the panda goes down, so now it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for Mog to defend. He's gonna end up running away with his Tinker, and that's going to be game for him if he doesn't do anything, because without Panda it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything against this many gargoyles from reinforcement. Okay, so basically now the Keeper of the Grove will go down, but Sexy isn't doing anything about his main base. Maybe he thinks that he can still defend, but that's not really the case. Actually, both of them TP out of there. Maybe Sexy still has some hope, because he does have. I'm sorry. Maybe Mog still thinks he can win because he has a Tinker, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough. Sexy in the meantime here losing the few buildings that he has left. The Lich gets disabled with a sleep, and now they're gonna fight here. And given the amount of gargoyles that the reinforcement has, it looks like it will go in favor of reinforcement. Infernal Stone drops right there, but reinforcement has the amount of units, and that should be enough really to win him the game, unless reinforcement makes a terrible mistake. So here basically this Dreadlord trying to get away, but the disables are very strong. The Frozen Breath from the Frostworm gets rid of the Dreadlord, and now Lich is next, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Lich falls, and after that Sexy would probably call GG. He's lost 2 of his 3 heroes, and now Mog, I don't know if Mog has a Tinker. He does have a Tinker, he's still running around with it. Maybe he thinks that he can do some damage, but given the amount of units that reinforcement has, this should be no problem for reinforcement to win alone, unless these two guys, Sexy and Mog, do something about it. But I don't think that's gonna be enough really. It should be game right there because this is all Sexy has. In Mog Skynet, I don't know if he can do much with only a Tinker. Well, he could, but that is if reinforcement gets very sloppy and lets this Tinker do everything he wants. Nevertheless, even though Mog Skynet seems to be working with Sexy, he ends up leaving the game because Sexy suicided him. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, Sexy now is gonna be defeated soon. Also, yeah, I mean, once this Boneyard goes out, it's game. So yeah, there it is, game. So Sexy did lose the game, but he got first place, which means that he gets 2 bonus points. As for reinforcement, he did win the game, but he ended up 3rd place, so he will only get 20 points. Mog Skynet did a good job, really. He probably played the best along with Sexy, so both of them deserve the first 2 places. Yeah, very good game in general. The teaming was well executed until the very last stages of the game. So overall, Sexy did play well, so did Mog, and Reinforcement played his part also. Nice game to cast, and let's see how these guys do next round. Alright, so this has been everything for today. Visit us at, what is it? www.ffamasters.net. There you will have more content, more games from round 1 and 2. Possibly this weekend we have all of the games finished, and we start with rounds 3 and 4 for next week. This was everything for today. Your host Cumulo. Have a good day. Bye bye.